I need to finish the trans link cross member that I was dealing with last build vlog. Got a pretty good idea of how this is going to lay out, at least for now, and then I can change that later. So let's get into it. This is my high clearance transmission cross member that I built a couple years ago. Basically, it bolts in the stock location. You cut a bunch of stuff out, and you get a nice big tube up inside there. Had some exhaust rubbing on it. It worked fine. Obviously, without a front drive shaft, it worked great. What I learned is that these mount holes are almost exactly in line with the stock mount, and if I scoot the 6080 and V8 forward as far as I possibly can, essentially what will happen is that it will be dead nuts in line with these stock crossmember mounts. Got some square box tube that I can run here, 2 pieces, and it'll be really easy for me to notch it for the exhaust or for the drive shaft here later on. But what I wanted to make sure is that I was behind this mount so that I could put a pad on the front of it or some sort of bracket on it, so that when I do put the 6080 up there, it'll mount just fine. Effectively, I'm going to keep these pads here, and I'm going to build a cross member just to hold them in place for now, and then weld it onto the truck, and then I'll have to cut and weld in place, the drive shaft hoop for the driver's side, or maybe I'll have to go below here for the exhaust. I'm not quite sure yet, but at least I can make it in such a way that I can get it up there, I can get my links installed, and then I can actually build around this going forward. So let me get those cut, and we'll get it on the truck. Where's my safety glasses went? That'll be my cross member right there. Right there. Beefy. I got a little bit of grinding to do to get it sitting flush, but that's okay. And once I get that, I'll just tack it into place, and then get these beefy links put back into place where they need to go. Fun times. I got the links put on, and I'm going to go bolt this back onto the truck and just test fit real quick everything, and then once I think that's right, I'll weld these up out of the truck thanks to those bolts, so I can just take it out and put it under there and test fit. So test fit real quick, and then we'll come back inside and weld it up. So I got the arms all mounted back in place. I've got the mounts tacked together real well, all 4 corners. I'm gonna wait to weld this because I want to get the cutouts tacked together later on in the process when I get to the exhaust and I get to the drive shaft. I like to just kind of have this able to be tacked together here in the truck where it belongs, and then I could take it to the bench and weld everything up real quick and then put it back in at the end of it all. But I need to get the track bar and coil buckets and shock mounts all put back in, so let's go up there and do that now. Alright, I got some of the stuff welded up and moved my jack stands that I made 4 or 5 videos ago on this build vlog, and they're back there by the trans mount that I just built, and the entire front half of the truck is literally hanging off of that point right now under the front doors. I've got the track bar mounted behind the axle where I thought I wanted it. I'm concerned about the oil pan, but Don't think I'm having an issue. Should be about 2 inches below the frame on my CAD drawing, so I just need to be considerate of that. I can probably still stuff it in front of the truss, but I'm not entirely sure. I figured putting the drag link behind the axle would be kind of a cool way to do it and a good way to package everything, so I guess we'll see how that works out. But let me flip the camera around and I'll show you guys where I'm at, and we're going to flex this thing out and check our tolerances. So the drag link is now on top of the pitman arm. I was having some contact issues down here with it before, so now that we're 2 inches higher, I got to tip that down a little bit and plate the top of it and weld all that up, but that's another story. I cut off the old third link radius arm mount off of the axle, and that's actually on the other end of the track bar right now. It's not welded in just yet, so I figured I'd recycle some bracketry. Track bar and drag link mount aren't terrible. Not as good as I wanted it, but hopefully it won't bump steer too bad. There's just no way that I can push that mount out any farther. Let's see what happens. Oh, it touched. So the track bar is touching that third link right now. Alright, well I think I've kind of figured this out. I put the track bar in front of the axle there. This is about as high as it's going to be. Just about 20 inches, just shy of 20 inches, just over 20 inches to the fender here, straight up. So pretty much that's going to be it. I know I'm going to have some sort of tire clearance issues there, so that's going to be kind of my limit. I still got to lower the pitman today, and I'll put my F-150 shock towers in there. You can see it's pretty far. It's pretty far, pretty crazy of an angle, so probably end up turning these bolts around and scooting this F-150 shock tower, Ford shock tower right up here, and rinse and repeat on the other side so that I can actually bolt up some coils right there. All this stuff's super tight. I think it's kind of where it is. There's no way around what I've done. So all of my mounts and locations, everything are pretty much dialed. So hopefully that'll work proper. Next video, I'll fully weld everything, make sure everything's there. I've got to get a couple parts in before I can do all that, but like the drag link axle side brackets coming. But maybe, just maybe, we'll start pulling the 6-liter out. Thanks for watching.